Hello class, I am Venkata Kalavalapalli. Today I would like to discuss about my project, that is the analysis of high growth firms and their impact on the regional economic development. So my project aims to analyze the dynamics of high growth firms across different US states and their impact on the regional economic development. State level economic development officials and the policymakers need to understand the characteristics and trends of high growth firms to create effective policies and support programs. So, by examining factors such as the number of high growth firms, job creation rates, and industry distribution, we can provide insights to help decision makers allocate resources more effectively and foster economic growth. So my dataset comes from the business dynamic statistics of the high growth firms published by the US Census Bureau, and it includes the continuous variables like the number of firms and the employment and the job creation, and also the categorical variables like state industry classification and the firm size categories. The data's credibility is high since it's sourced from a reliable government agency, ensuring its accuracy and relevance for the analysis. And coming to the methodology, I would like to start with the data cleaning, like missing data. The first step was to identify and handle any missing values across the dataset. If necessary, imputation techniques or exclusion of incomplete records were employed. And the second thing is the standardization, like categories such as industry classification and firm sizes were standardized to ensure consistency across the data set. And the time period, the data set spans multiple years and the analysis focuses on the specific range of years, example like 2010 to 2020, to capture the trends in high growth firm formation. And come to the high growth firm, it it was identified as using the predefined criteria such as significant increase in employment or revenue growth over a period of time. And second thing is exploratory data analysis. So come to the visualization, like tools such as histograms and bar charts were used to visualize the distributions of high growth firms by state industry and the firm size. And coming to the trend identification, key patterns emerged like revealing which industries are most likely to produce high growth firms. For instance, sectors like technology and finance showed a higher concentration of high growth firms compared to the more traditional sectors. And coming to the correlation analysis, a correlation analysis was conducted to determine if there is a strong relationship between the number of high growth firms and the job creation in different states. Like early findings indicate a positive correlation where states with the more higher growth firms also experience higher rates of job creation. And coming to the geographical analysis, like a state level analysis was carried out with a focus on high growth firm activity. It varies geographically, choropleth maps were used to visualize these differences. And coming to the regional comparison, further segmentation was done by region, like example Northeast and Midwest, showing significant regional disparities in high growth firm distribution. Like coastal states like California and New York have a higher concentration, while some rural states have a fewer such firms. So my key findings are, first thing is the industry distribution. Concentration in emerging sectors like industries like technology and healthcare showed a higher percentage of high growth firms. For instance, like technology firm makes up 40% of the high growth firms, while sectors like agriculture and retail lag behind. Like coming to the growth in the traditional sectors, while the tech sector dominates, traditional sectors such as construction and manufacturing also showed higher growth potential in specific states. So it was driven by the innovation and the digital transformation. And coming to the job creation, I would start with a positive correlation. Like a strong relation was observed between the number of high growth firms and job creation. Like states with a higher concentration of such firms like California and Texas saw significant job growth, contributing to a more dynamic local economy. And come to the impact by sector, like sectors like technology, healthcare, and renewable energy generated a higher number of jobs, like further solidifying their role in driving economic development. Coming to the geographical trends, there is a urban versus rural divide. Like there is a noticeable divide in the presence of high growth firms between urban and rural areas. Like urban states, particularly those with the larger cities, have a much higher concentration of high growth firms. For example, California, New York, and Massachusetts stand out, while states like Wyoming or Montana have fewer high growth firms. So the regional insights like the Northeast and West Coast are leading in a high growth firms, particularly in industries such as finance, technology, and biotech. The Midwest, on the other hand, tends to produce high growth firms in manufacturing and agriculture, although at a smaller scale. So, and I would like to conclude conclude the project by saying that for policymakers like targeted industry support, the policymakers like should focus on the supporting industries that show high growth potential. Like for instance, states with high tech sector should enhance infrastructure and create innovation hubs to support startups. And coming to the resource allocation, states that lag in high growth firm creation, particularly in rural areas, should invest in programs that foster entrepreneurship and access to the capital. And coming to the tax incentives and the grants, regions with low high growth firm activity can introduce tax incentives and grant programs to attract firms to their states. This could help stimulate job creation and create economic development. Come to the future research. Future studies could include factors such as the impact of venture capital availability or workforce education levels on the formation of high growth firms, and analyzing how international economic conditions influence high growth firm performance across US states would also provide the invaluable sites. Valuable sites. I'm sorry. So yeah, uh, I would like to say that understanding of the high growth firm dynamics to inform the regional economic development project helped the thing in a way to understand how data works. Thank you.